Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the drip network sustainability. Should we start the worry? Is this project going to fail? What's going to happen? What do we need to do to fix it? Let's talk about that, and we're just going to look at the evidence in this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to warn you up front. If you're showing up on my channel because you want to hear someone who is just a fanboy only going to talk about the positive, you need to leave right now because this video is not for you. But if you want someone who's going to have an objective conversation, the kind that you cannot have in their Telegram group because the drip network admins, I challenge you to go in there and ask any critical question about drip or going to Animal Farm Telegram and ask any critical question, a legitimate question like, hey, do we understand why the price isn't going up? Do we know what development's going to happen next? Ask almost any slightly critical question and you have greater than a 50% shot of getting banned. I just heard someone got banned because he said he did not like the way the new UI was going to look of the drip network. And I mean, they're going to update the look of the website, but they're not actually doing any functional improvements to the project yet. I want to talk about that. We'll look at the evidence of what's going on. The price is significantly down. I think we had a high over $150 per drip. We're down to 59. People are talking about buying the dip, buying the dip. Should you buy the dip? Well, we can talk about that in this video. Let's just first talk about what's going on. This is important to talk about. It's important to discuss. So one of the things I've often said on this channel is by design, drip was going to have an economic problem. I have done 2 or 3 videos on sustainability, and I've mentioned this in each one of those videos. By design, it was going to have a problem. At the way that it's currently designed right now, it is not sustainable. I mean, the very first video that I did way back when, I said, hey, maybe 3 months from now is good. 6 months, I'm more concerned about it. I don't know what it looks like a year from now. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. Well, we were like that 6-month mark probably since I made that video, 3 to 6 month mark. And now I'm like, I don't know. And I'm going to show you the evidence of what we have going on. There are some problems with this project that many people are not discussing. I'm going to share them with you. The main one is the ecosystem needs to be upgraded in some way. I don't mean we need to go create a new project like the Drip Garden or create a new project like the Manor Farm or the Animal Farm or the Piggy Bank. No, I mean, we need to directly focus on the Drip network. The challenge with Drip is we have a dev who has, for some reason, chosen to spread himself too thin. Devs often do this, by the way, specifically when they're small one-man shops. And that's really what we have going on right now. A very successful small 1 to 2 man shop is what it looks like is running here, because projects announcements have been made and they've not been followed through on repeatedly. And unfortunately, the dev doesn't admit mistakes, and that's just unfortunate. Never will he admit mistakes. And if you suggest that he's made a mistake, then you're going to get banned. By the way, if you want to join a Telegram group where you're not going to get banned so easily, and you can talk about the pros and the cons of projects, you can say, I'm excited about a project, but I've got concerns, then I'm going to put my Telegram link in the description. I have never publicly on my channel taught about my Telegram, but I'm going to put it in the description. You can join my Telegram. In our Telegram, again, we talk about the pros and the cons. You're not going to show up in my Telegram and talk about a project and not expect someone to say they may have some concern with that project. If you're easily offended about that, don't go into my Telegram. And don't show up in my Telegram plan to openly shield. That's about one of the only things that will get you banned. But if you have questions about a project, if there are things you like, things you don't like, you can definitely talk about that in our Telegram, our Crypto Passive Profits Telegram. I'll put a link in the description. Join us over there. Okay, so let's just look at some of the evidence. Some of the things that I pointed out before is that the basic economics of drip says that once you get people in, at some point, your current population of people, investors who are holding the token, are going to be depositing into the faucet. At some point, they're going to be withdrawing more than they put in. They're in profit. Now, when that happens, at first, maybe it's 10%. 10% are in profit first. Maybe it's not necessarily a big deal. 20% are in profit. 30% are in profit. There comes a point where the ones in profit are withdrawing so much, and it's not necessarily a number, it's the amount that they're withdrawing out of the faucet. They need to do something with those drip. And right now, the only thing to do is restake them into the wallet or to sell them. And that is why the price is coming down. If the only goal is to sell the token, if that's the only reason to have the token, then when you have people in profit, they're only in profit because they sold the token. If you're an investor in drip and your goal is to be in profit, that means ultimately you're going to be a net seller, which means at some point you're part of the reason the price is going down. Even if you try to say, I'm going to reinvest 5 times a day and withdraw on the weekends, which is what I used to do. You're still withdrawing more than you put in, which means you're selling more than you ever bought. Therefore, you're still part of the reason the price is going down. Do you see the dilemma here? The only way, by that logic alone, the only way is to prevent people from being able to succeed in the project, anybody to succeed in the project, because if you succeed too much, you're going to be the net seller. Now, there's a lot of people that say things like, well, there's whale wallets. That is true. There's a whale tax and that sort of thing. That is true. But that only increases sustainability. It doesn't make the project viable. There's a difference in viability and sustainability. Sustainability is something you've always got to monitor and you've got to watch. And there's a couple things we need to pay attention to. First, let's look at price real quick. Price is dropping like crazy. Now, how long has it been dropping? Let's look at the 1 month. For the entire month, let's go to 3 months. Now, this is interesting. Notice we were seeing these ups and downs, and now it's just going down, 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 down. No, without like any stop. It's just dropping, 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 dropping. And people talk about the whales. Well, a lot of the whales are capping their wallets. You'll see that talked about because there's you can only get so many rewards. But people are understanding those whales have already started multiple wallets. They're still withdrawing more than they ever put in. They're still making withdrawals. So, and it's dropping again. The cap on the wallet increases sustainability, but it doesn't make the project viable. And viability is very difficult for the project. That's the bottom line. Because of because it needs more development to even have a shot. And even then, with future development, I don't know the answer, the complete answer. I can tell you the mechanism that needs to happen, but I don't know the complete answer, and I'll share that mechanism with you in a moment. But let's just look at how it's dropping. So a lot of people, you'll hear people say, buy the dip, buy the dip. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a situation where you buy the dip. This is where you're catching a knife. And if you pay attention, you'll see that like the volume is actually going up from sales. That's not a good sign. Like that's not like you're seeing a lot of volume, but they're selling. That's not good. Now, one thing that the developer did that was smart was when he created the drip garden. Those of you that are familiar with that, he added a lot of liquidity. The reason that is smart is because the price would have already tanked way stupid low, probably well under $10. But the developer was saying that he thought we may see, at one point he was saying we may see price hit $500, $1,000. Like he openly said that. Yeah, that's not happening right now. We're definitely not on that trend right now. So this, people are like, should I buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip? I'm buying the dip. If anyone told you they bought the dip from here to here, they made a bad decision. They didn't buy the dip. They caught a knife. They thought they were buying the dip. In trading, we call that catching a knife. They call it a knife. We need to see something tip up. We need to see it, start to tilt up. Let's see the daily. What's that looking like? See, even the daily, I mean, it's just straight down. All day today. But 24 hours ago, it was at $68. Now we're over here at $64. It's not even showing a blip up. That's concerning. Here's the other thing we need to look at. The token wallet. So when you deposit into the faucet right here, you can't get these funds out. You get back 1% of what you put in per day. And the cap on it is 365%, which means 265% minus taxes. There's a 10% tax or 20% tax when it's all said and done with. But still, you end up with getting out more than you put in to some degree. And that's the mechanism that we all like. But it's also the mechanism, ultimately, when you have enough people doing that, the price is going to drop because there's nothing for them to do with their tokens. And, people are concerned about the wallets, and this is something I mentioned in my last video talking about drip sustainability. You should be aware of it. This is that wallet. This is where you deposit. This is the contract and where you deposit your the drip token, but this is the wallet contract where you deposit into the faucet, and this is where they go. And as you can notice, it had a peak back in August. Now, one of the things that they keep saying, they've oftentimes said, this is a deflationary token, deflationary token. It is not a deflationary token. It has never been a deflationary token, but what it did do, the faucet allowed for it to pull to lower the circulating supply, and that helped keep the price up for sure in the beginning, because every time someone came in, when you came in later and there's less supply, the price went up faster. That was the bottom line. But the peak of this thing was 864,000 tokens. And now we saw this over here, 769,000, but now that was in February, beginning of February, or middle of February maybe. But now we're all the way down. Wait, there's the date right there. What is it? January 26th. Okay, so not even February. So January 26th, and now we're down to March 5th right here on the 6th was Sunday. So it's a couple of days behind, but there's Monday. So we're down to 500,000. 500,000. I mean, that's significant. That's 260-something thousand down. Based on that rate, in another 2 months, we'll be all the way down to 250,000. But this is not the end all to be all. This is a concern right now because it's the primary mechanism that pulls supply off the market. In order for DRIP, this is what we need to see. In order for DRIP to be sustainable long term, we have to see two things. We don't necessarily have to see, right now we have to see this balance grow, but we don't necessarily have to see the balance grow. We need to see a reason, one of two things. A reason for, okay, I'll break down three options. We need to see either people depositing more in here. That's one thing. For some reason, stop withdrawing and start with compounding. I don't think that's likely to happen right now all by itself because we hit critical mass where people are withdrawing. So I don't think that's likely to happen. But we need, and the problem is every time someone deposits in here, you're ultimately increasing the sell pressure in the future, meaning right now it alleviates the sell pressure. But this is going to be someone who's going to be in profit in 100 and something days, and now they may be a net seller. Every person who's in profit, who's selling more drip than they put in, is part of the reason the price is going down. And you can't blame them. That was how the contract was designed on purpose. So you need another mechanic in there where people will not sell. So two main things that we need to see. Not a new UI. That's irrelevant. We all know this isn't JP Morgan. It never is going to be JP Morgan. We don't need a super fancy UI. That's a waste of time. What we need, and we don't need another Animal Farm, a Manor Farm, piggy bank, botch launch, all that. All that is like, that's all a distraction, and it's a challenge, and it's not been helpful to DRIP at all. In fact, people have pulled funds out of DRIP to go into those projects, and those projects fail. And then when they go back and look at DRIP, when I say fail, they haven't fully failed. They've struggled a great deal. They're still working on those projects. But when people go back and look at DRIP and the price is down, they don't put their funds back in DRIP. That's a challenge. And so what we need to see is two mechanisms. We need to see a reason for people to want to hold their DRIP because they're speculating on the price going up for some reason, or a economic incentive or a economic mechanism that will burn the DRIP token to keep the circulating supply up, to burn the circulating supply. Because if you keep the circulating supply in check, you increase the odds that people may start compounding again, or more people may come in. But no one's going to come in if the price is down. And if you can find a mechanism where the burn rate can increase as people are withdrawing, then you're going to find stability in the price. And that is very interesting and can make this thing sustainable long term. The problem with saying that is I don't know of any mechanism that can keep the burn rate growing, because the burn rate has to grow as more people are withdrawing. And I don't know, you're talking about creating a perfect economic balance. And I don't know of any mechanism that can fully do that right now. We are seeing a tiny blip in the price, I think. Oh, we're at 60 from 59, I think, at the start of this video. So that's good. But as you can see, it is mostly going down. So we'll have to see what happens. And I want to point out some of the development improvements that's been discussed and by the way, shout out to the Drip Farm. His YouTube channel is great. This guy is so positive about DRIP, and only recently he's been saying, hey, there's been some problems. There's some things that need to get addressed, and he's not wrong in what he's saying. I know a lot of people in the DRIP community probably say he's giving FUD or whatever, but you know, he's right. These are all things. He recently shared this on one of his videos. You can come subscribe to his channel, but he recently shared this, and these are all the incentives to create utility around DRIP. Now, if all this happened, it may be a game changer. But the problem is none of this has happened, and it's all just been talked about and hyped up about. Let's go through this one by one. DRIP cross-chain bridge. This was talked about at the end of last year. We've seen no progress to this at this point in time. Not saying it's not happened. We haven't seen it. We haven't been given a timeline, deadline, or anything on this. But it's a neat project. There's supposed to be a DRIP roadmap. We've not seen that at all. Again, I think it's because the Animal Farm and the piggy bank and the lottery and the vaults and all this stuff, that stuff over there has been a distraction, I believe. This current DRIP NFT partnership, we know nothing about that. It's just been talked about. It's been pumped up. But again, who knows? Drip Atlanta's metaverse. This is interesting. I've been in their Telegram. They got some neat ideas. If you understand what a reserve currency is, at this point in time, I can't even comprehend why they would use Drip as a reserve currency, but that's what they're claiming. The problem with this project, and this project could be interesting, they're talking about not even being like really released. They've sold land and stuff like that, but they're talking about the game not releasing till 2025. I think we need something to happen sooner than that, I think. Drip Trap Hip Hop NFT Marketplace with A-list rappers. Great. No timeline. When is it going to happen? We need something to happen. Drip Atlanta Jewelry Store Partnership. I think this is silly. It's irrelevant. One jewelry store anywhere, whatever that means. What does that look like? What's a jewelry store going to do with Drip? I would love to hear more about what the even idea is, because if it's actually a viable idea, then we should see it. There shouldn't be an Atlanta jewelry store partnership. We should see a team of people onboarding businesses if there's an actual good incentive for businesses here. The incentive cannot be just invest in Drip to get rewards. It's got to be a more significant incentive. Focus visual influencer onboarding, basically more advertising. That would be great. And there was something about these influencers using Drip to receive tips someone was talking about. Don't know what that looked like, because all of those of us that are influencers aren't taking tips in Drip, so I don't know what that's all about. But this was talked about like in October of last year. And again, I feel like this would have been a better use of time, or find a marketing team to do it if that's going to happen. Drip Faucet Collateral Lending Platform. Don't know what that's about. Again, we need a timeline. Need something to, if it's gonna give people another reason to hold Drip, maybe. If it's gonna be a way to increase rewards outright, that's not necessarily good. Drip NFT battle game on Solana. This could work. The problem is that takes time. I mean, it's a whole nother business model, but it takes a lot of time to be able to pull a game together. We've seen that with Axie Infinity, Peg Axie. We see that in the play to earn space, but it's interesting. Maybe. I don't know what it looks like. Maybe. You use your Drip. If you use your Drip to buy NFTs and it burns Drip, that could be very good. But this is like people saying, oh, we're going to put out a roadmap, and in 1 year, we're going to have a full game, and you're going to be able to use fiat dollars and buy in-game assets. Anybody can put something on a roadmap. We got to see things come to fruition. And at this point, Drip has just been a lot of promotion and a lot of enthusiasm, but we haven't seen anything else come to fruition yet. Drip cross-chain, ETH, Metaverse, BSC, NFT partnership. Same thing. Multi-dex, Pancake Swap takeover. That would be epic. We need to see movement towards that. Drip backed treasury by Ohm Fork for Algo stablecoin. I don't know about the Algo stablecoin part. I could give two craps about Olympus DAI. I was one of the first people who made a channel saying I was selling my Olympus tokens and told why. I sold near the top on that project because I understood there was a problem with what they were doing. But what they were doing right was a treasury. There's a lot of good things when a project can own their treasury. That is very, very interesting. I have another project that I'm investing in, Kubo nodes. If you're familiar with Kubo, if you're not, I'll put a video above. I'll put a link in the description. I'll be talking about Kubo more on this channel. One of the things that I like about the project, there are things that I dislike about it, and I've talked about it on this channel. But one of the things that I like is that they're owning their treasury. I think that is really smart for a project if they can do that. BetFury Drip Casino, this has been talked about for a long time. There was supposed to be a reason why they didn't do it. Okay, great. Fiat to Drip own ramp by credit card, debit card. This should have been done. They're saying they applied for it. This should have been done. Other projects, who aren't even as old as Drip already got their credit debit card stuff applied for it. And you can, I just interviewed a CMO of a project. I'll put that video above. You can watch it. But with their project, relatively new. But one of the first things they did was I say relatively new. They're probably a year or so old. But one of the first things they did was they got their on ramp and off ramp for credit debit cards. And you can use it in most of the states in the U.S. as well. Big exchange listing, great. All that is going to do is create. These two here aren't going to do. These aren't actually creating use cases for the project. BetFury, if you can use BetFury, and what's interesting about this is a casino gaming dApp. By the way, this is one of my early great investments. I did super well with this project. Some of you that have followed my channel for a really long time. In the early days, we were making 1.5% on this project. If you like learning about earning passive income with crypto, now today I would not go make a new investment in that project, but it's all about timing in crypto. I'm still making a couple hundred. I sold a huge chunk of my investment over there and I'm still making a couple $100 a month probably. It's been a great project. But the thing is, if you use drip in a casino, obviously there's a house edge, you're going to lose drip. If they could burn that or do something with that you lost and then give rewards in the BFG token, which is the investment I used to make back in the day, then that for the casual player, this would be very interesting. Not only are people going to find out about drip because they'll see it playing, but then drip may get removed from circulation. Now, if the BetFury's team's whole goal is just to hold drip and earn the drip rewards, then that's just going to going to extend sustainability, but ultimately it still collapses the project. They've got to find a way. They got to find a way to be able to burn this token or to give people a reason to hold this token long term outside of just depositing the faucet. And I don't know if they can come out with a viable way. And when I see things like more development on projects that claim they're going to bring attention to drip, but that hasn't proved truthful in the long term, like Animal Farm, then I feel like those projects are a distraction, or it makes me feel like maybe the dev knows he's not going to be able to stop this. And all you can do when you don't know is just guess, and hopefully I'm guessing wrong. But we've got to see some more use cases. Again, shout out to Drip Farm. By the way, if you want a more objective view of drip, someone who's more optimistic probably than even I am, then go watch his freaking channel. I mean, the guy says good stuff on his channel. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Decentralized cryptocurrency equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.